Hey
Hey
guys.
guys, what's up? Welcome to Real Estate Team Real Estate Lifestyle. We out at a visit. Somebody invited us to lunch, so we're gonna take you guys on a little tour of what you do when you are making connections, guys. We have Panera Bread. Show them Panera Bread.
Oh, there you go.
So you can meet people anywhere. If you don't have an office or anything like that, Panera Bread, has a atmosphere where you can make meetings or have meetings and stuff like that with your clients or your people that you want to work with. Okay, guys. So don't let
Yeah.
that stop you. Always try to make it happen. All right.
Let's go, Chase.
Or medium income. You know what I mean? Or they just don't buy the area. So you got to keep counseling.
So you haven't really done anything with them.
I have a deal with them right now. I went for them to run the inspection. I'll keep trying. Listen, I'm gonna keep trying, boss. So each week, I'm trying to grab people up to see if we can do it. We can make the inspection seriously. So I got a deal right now in Arizona, and I'm waiting for them to
Would
see.
you partner up with the person that brought the deal in?
No, I go direct to the home sellers and work deals out with them. Right now, everybody.
How'd you end up in Arizona?
I just go by where they're buying it. And I work the areas they buy it. Portfolios and so they got like a lot of different departments.
Well, how did you find a deal in Arizona?
Zillow.
Find it on Zillow?
I just call it. I'm sitting home, you work from home.
Yeah.
And I try to tell everybody, use your head, you know what I mean? So if a hedge fund is going to support you in deals, why not just sit back home and now just focus on where they doing deals? So we do deals in Tampa. I be on the phone every day. I don't leave my house. I got to work. I used to work in places like this. You know what I mean? Like Dirty Arms and stuff. Come on, bro. I'm gonna be on the phone. It's easy. Hey, how you doing, man? Mike talking nice, man. We really work every day. Just put out posts and say, hey, no. We're working every day trying to get the deals under contract because we got this hedge fund that's going to support us on our deals, boss. All we got to do is do a home inspection. My game, how I'm talking to the homeowners is different. Like, listen, I just need to do a home inspection, and the home inspection goes with it, and she goes to closing. I don't know how to say, hey,
These are people already trying to sell.
Come on, they're ready, so.
They're already listed on it.
Already. You just call them and see if you can work a deal out with them. Hey, my name is Joe.
What are you having to pay? You having to pay what they're asking, or more or less? Or?
Working with hedge funds, you can do that. That's why
You can pay more?
Yeah.
How much more? Like 20%, 10%?
What's full price?
Just regular full price.
Full price. So the ARV is, say like they want 150 and the ARV is 170. I can get that deal under contract and send it to the hedge fund and make 170 and make $20,000. That's awesome. That's why I keep doing it. You know what I mean?
How many deals have you done with these guys?
Well, he hasn't got, they haven't got anything at the close yet.
It's been 3 months. You know what I mean?
It takes time. Real estate takes 3 months.
Hit the right thing.
But there's a couple in the pipeline? I missed that part.
Yeah. We always send deals to them. So
How many are in the pipeline to be funded?
Right now, 2, right? We got this one, we got another Jacksonville one. So we sending the contract out. We moving here. We sending the contract out for another one in Jacksonville.
I saw that video of you and the girl in Georgia.
Because
that go through?
I got the team in Georgia that I work with. So they help me do deals in all 50 cities. That's why I say I work with different people. For the hedge fund, we do deals in 23 cities. And then the team in Georgia help me do deals in all 50 states through realtors. So we put deals on the market, stuff like that. So it didn't go through because the homeowner didn't let the buyer in the house to look at the property. Now, boss, I could have made $100,000. Seriously, I'd have been so happy. $100,000.
But they turned it back.
They wouldn't let the home. Well, the seller, she has to be cooperative, right? She has to let you do your job. And some sellers won't. Some sellers won't let you.
They figure out you're making $100,000 on it.
Yeah.
Because you can see how much you're selling for because the realtors have it on the MLS. So you can see the difference. You know what I mean? But she was like, it was crazy because there was tenants inside. Right? So once you just let the people go inside and the tenants don't mind, she said the tenants don't mind, that's why they're inside. But she was the one stopping them.
Yeah, she was meeting them there.
Yeah, like, no, you can't
The
go
buyers.
here. You can't go look in this room. Or, you can't go in this shit. She was stopping them from doing it. So the homeowner, the buyer was like, I can't see nothing. Like, who this lady? Like, what's going on? And like, who is she? Then she telling them, then she telling them, hey, I'll sell it to you for cheaper.
I've got one right now. I put
It's
under
crazy, you know.
contract.
It's just how it
Here's
is.
Liz, I put one under contract for 75. I gave her $100 down. She cashed my $100. I told her it's going to take 6 weeks to close. She goes 6 weeks. Sells it out from underneath me to somebody else for 65 instead of 70. Right? I'm like, how would you do that? And she goes, I said, you cashed my $100 deposit. You know, I can sue you. Right? She goes, well, then she calls me back a week later and says, hey, the title's messed up. The ex-husband's divorce is on there, and he's owed $15,000 on my title. I didn't know it. And I'm like, oh, too bad you tried to screw me, lady. So then she called me up crying a week later, and I said, well, okay, hey, what? Let me go figure out what's up with the title. And I got her down to 57. So she saved me almost 15 grand by being in credit. Right. Still got my $100. But we'll close on that next week.
Do you ever run across this multifamily dwelling in your searches? Yeah.
Well,
Anything you think is good tips?
I do, but they be late to do because we targeted single family properties. I make a list for us.
That's your focus.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to focus on vacants, people out of state, you know, widows, things like that. I kind of focus on it. And then 1989, old stuff. This is single family right now. I see it.
That's what you meant.
No, I'm saying I don't put it on my list to be, because we have profile markets to call people, so I'm not putting it on my list for them to call. Yeah, 'cause I'm just trying to stay focused on. I mean, if I do see something, I can say, hey, I see something. There's a lot of, I know every wholesaler here, it's not a business to do at the right time, so I can work with them. Hey, you know, I got some buyers. Try to do something. That's all you're trying to buy.
Well, that's our
We're focusing on some multifamily stuff.
That's not money.
You know, I flipped 400 houses, so I've done 400. So it's like, it's great, and it's wonderful. And it's 10 grand, 5 grand, 20 grand, whatever.
Right.
And it's, you know, I did 47 in a year. It's, you know, 300 grand without any realtors, you know. It's a lot of work. But then when you're done, you got to start all over.
Yeah.
So I decided to get older. He's getting older. We've been friends 25, 30 years. I decided we're going to get some apartments to kind of catch some residual.
Yeah, all everything in one place. You don't have to go
Right.
Well, plus Joel, I mean, his expertise is that we've managed ever since we've known each other almost, it's actually 35 years, buddy.
I'm at 105.
So we've managed,
I'm like, wow.
ever since we met each other, we've managed, we've sold. But Joel's actually really good on the building side too. So there's nothing he can't build or fix.
And I owned a 30-unit trailer park on a dirt road on the edge of Palaca. You know, so you know what kind of place that was, right? And I built it up from 6 grand to 10 grand a month. You know, and it was bringing in 10 years a month for 7, 8 years, you know. So until my partner got a tumor and we were selling it. But that was, what am I getting at again?
I want to do 10 grand.
Well, I didn't get all that.
I know, I'm
I
just
split
saying.
it, but
Still, I mean, you got to work hard to get money.
when you get a good manager too, then you know it's 2 days a week. I got so good. One time I drove to Palaca 360 times in 1 year. You know, so
That is a lot.
yeah.
Does your hedge fund buy multifamilies? Or are they mostly interested in just single family?
Yeah, I told you that's probably what they do.
Well, I mean,
I wish they,
everything's changed all the time.
Yeah,
All they gotta do is
well, they send me criteria. They always send me different criteria all the time. It's always updated.
Okay.
So
What
they
do you
drop
have a
it.
list that you send out to people? Your stuff that you get on the contract? You guys have a list?
Nah, we like I said, we usually work with the hedge funds, and we usually work with TE. You know, I work with Don G. Cash Weekend.
I've seen you on the net with it.
Yeah, I don't know. They the one that helped me leave my job. They helped me leave my job. So the only reason we work with them is because we can stay home and not have to get in.
What are those guys? You guys both know those guys?
Yeah, it's a big old something company here. that-
What's the name of them?
Cash Geeks.
Hash Cheeks? Geeks?
You know Cash Geeks. Yeah, they do like 50 days a month.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can get my goods to them. Like right now, we're making $25 because they're doing good. And I ain't doing nothing. I'm just trying to do other stuff. That's why I can work in other cities. You know what I mean? Because I work with these guys. So we did deals here in Jacksonville. And you know what's crazy? I had 3,000 buyers for myself. But I never said.
Can you get to your guys?
No,
Because the market's so strong.
you know, so I just work with them. They got 11,000 buyers.
See, we used to build big buyers lists back in the early 2000s. We had a big email buyers list. Everybody talked about the buyers list. Now it's about finding them. You know, because the market's so tight. It's just you got to find them. And what he's doing is he's basically knocking doors on the phone. You know, he's hustling. You too.
Well, we built up, like, say like you're doing something and you want to do deals. We connect with you and say, hey, listen, we'll teach you how to do it. You just work with us. We'll go with you, do all the deals. You just make the calls. We'll do the other hand. But we let you know why we need to do this. So
And you learn it through the process.
We have like, what, 8 people?
Yeah.
8 people that we build lists and send it to them and then let them call it and then we work against them.
So when they get somebody interested, they call you and then you got to negotiate it out.
That's how we can
I've kind of figured that's what you're doing
Come
because
on, man. You gotta work.
yeah, I mean, I've been watching you on Facebook for a year, so I've kind of figured what you're doing.
Be open to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But really,
But plus, then you split it 50-50 or
and then try and then do this little hit from where we can make top dollar for things. You know what I mean? Because the deal we doing now, we make it like we make it 25. We should be making 50, right? But we're doing it.
Could you split it?
But they're doing it with the same hedge fund. We just started doing business. So now we like, yeah, we got to get over. You know what I mean? So I got to get over. We could have made $50,000. You know what I mean? But some fun. So I called the dude in the hedge fund. I was like, hey man, my team went to this hedge fund. You know them? He was like, nah. I said, but I got these 2 deals with the hedge fund. So I told him the 2 deals I got. He said, yeah, Barbara got those. And I was like, oh, so you're the same people. So now we direct to them. So that's why I'm working with them. That's why you see, hey, inspection here, inspection there. Because we trying to get things done. You know?
Yeah.
And see, Zillow, people, they're at their house and way sometimes lock us from the investment. The hedge fund will pay what the investment says. It's crazy. I mean, I'm not talking about what the investment's in. I'm saying the range. You know, you go down the bottom.
The top of the range.
What? That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. I put that on there for the price to test them out. They match that a lot of times. But then the seller doesn't give the deal because they sell it to somebody else.
So your role's tied up.
I'm trying to every day. You know, hey, trust me. You know what I mean?
What are you using for your contracts?
We have different ones.
So
So,
we're, you got DocuSign?
yeah, we have to. That's somewhere we can go over. It's in Denver, Colorado. We almost closed the deal there, but people had to go down on the price. I'm like, but you said that we have a 20 and came back 80. You know what I mean? So you got, you didn't say, if you told me to do it, we would have been right, you know what I mean? So here, I can send you and see the great thing about the kids. They will send me a copy of the inspection so I can send it to them. Like, well, listen, here's the report. This is really why. Look, check it out. I'm not putting it in. This is somebody's page. One of your house.
They know what they
Start
have.
used to.
They know what they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, or some people just aren't used to doing,
Nah,
aren't
but people
dealing
know.
with
They know
people.
when their
They,
house is crap. They know when it's got
They do.
termite
people do
damage.
know that have gotten less money than they should because they handle it wrong.
Every
It
deal.
happens all the time. They just
So I
get
mean, we just
confused
try. We
and
just try to
nervous.
be honest. We just try to be honest with people though, so
So you can make it
wanna
clean
come
and
back.
simple.
They might wanna say, okay, yeah, you know right. We can't sell it for that. We will sell it for you. So we're just trying to be good for that. You know. But I love working with this man. One day we're gonna make 100 degrees off of them deals.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, it's a members game, so I understand
I
that.
told him my contractor buddy was I'm going to rehabs for him. And he said, they're just the same. He's making 30 grand a month. Just going, getting crews. He basically pulled it. Permits and inspected them and had the subs working it. And they were buying up every house they could buy down in Orlando.
Right.
They were killing it. Killing it.
Right now, we can get on the road now. Call in direct and still be on the road now. Try to get a piece of paper and make money.
So role play with me. Let's say I got my house on Zillow for $150. You call me up. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, sir? I see you got a house on Zillow. I was wondering if this is available.
Yep, selling for $150.
All right. Any updates?
It needs some updates. All the houses around it are 220, 230, so it needs some update. It was my mom's house. She passed, so kitchen's 30 years old, window's 30 years old.
So I would have to get my inspector inside, and he would really tell me what the cost would be to do the refund, and then I can let you know if that price is good or not. Usually, if it's not, we will have to try to negotiate. Are you willing to negotiate the price?
Well, I have had a lot of calls on it, so I'm not sure yet.
All right. Well, we try to give you the best price, top price. We don't try to beat the homeowner down. So that's why we usually have to just to make sure we have the right price.
When do you want to do that?
It usually takes us about 2 days to schedule it. I would just have to get a contract with you so I can have the interest in the property. Then I can go ahead and send out the inspector.
You'll give me a contract for 150?
Yeah, I can get you for 150 now, but I'm letting you know on inspection if we can really give you that.
That's fair. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it needs work. So.
Okay. Well, like I said, we're gonna do an inspection. Just give you the bottom price.
Fair enough.
All right.
You're giving me the bottom price? Wait a minute.
That's right.
Yeah. He's like, all right.
You gotta hit him with the head. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You gotta let him know. You know? But that's what we do all day long, man. Like, dude, and we home. So we people in the Texas, Denver, you know, for real. It's starting to work out there. I've been doing so long, I'm so good at it.
How long have you been doing it?
2 years. Okay. Going on 2.5 prices.
Yeah, 2.5.
How many deals you close?
Like 50.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It is. Now we doing it from home.
Think about it, it's like $1 a month.
Yeah.
You make 10 grand on a deal.
All of them haven't been 10. Just
Well, sometimes you're little, sometimes you're big.
Well, you know, at first my goal was to just do one deal, get a New York and stuff, and we doing that. Now my goal is to try to make the most money off this deal. You know what I mean? So we got to.
I had one sent to me for 15 grand. Listen, I had one sent to me 15 grand. I sent my partner out. She lived on that side of town. She went out and took a picture, Denise did, of the wrong house, the house next to it. And I said, it's 15 grand? Well, look, that house next to it was a trailer though, but it was a nice double wide, like late model, nice. And I was like, oh yeah, I tell my buddy I'll buy it. So I give him a contract. I drive by it about a week later and I said, wait a minute. Wrong house. This one literally had no doors, holes in the floors. I mean, like the whole floor was ripped out. It had been flooded. And somebody started rehabbing it. Doors are gone. The floors are gone. The plumbing's sticking out. I'm like, Denise, you took a picture of the wrong. You took a picture. Oh my god! I said, we're buying
What
this.
house is this?
This is over the way. I'm like, we're buying this for 15 grand. I'm like, oh my god! So I threw it online, and a guy came on and bought it for 19 grand. We made 2 grand a piece, literally in a week.
Yeah.
And the guy paid cash.
I know.
Yeah, and I was like.
Wow.
And you know what? He put about 50 grand into it, but he ended up selling it for 100. So he made 20 grand too.
Yeah.
You know? So he did good. But he was
Right
good.
now, you can do great.
Yeah. This is a few years ago.
Well, that's the truth. But right now, it's like that. You know, get into your house. It's like, the house that we're talking about, we didn't do anything. And somebody's going to be that much money.
It's just the market is so hard. By the time you get to it, there's 4 people who want it.
I had it on a contract for 230. The realtor put it on the market for 450. Yeah, somebody pays it 330.
Well, how many? I've run into a bunch of young people.
The sellers are okay with it, or they don't?
They're out there.
No, that's the one that let the people in. You know what I mean? I was always so happy. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe just get the money together and run it.
That's what the realtor did. But see, the lady crazy now. I can't call her somebody.
Where's she at?
Zillow.
No, but where? I'll call her.
What part? Killing me.
Yeah,
Just give me a text me number right now. I'll call
She
her.
said I
We'll split it. Forget it. We'll split it.
Yeah, it's nice, man. I mean, I wish I had the money to get it, because they're just picking up on the market for real. You
Get the house. You get the house, so you can always get them. You get the
Nice
house.
money.
Yeah.
If the equity's there, there's somebody out there willing to give them money. If they're going to make money on their money, you know, you don't get rich working for money. You get rich money working for you.
Is that your main email address? Okay, what's your email?
904 Hey, we can start putting that on the list now. The duplexes, right? We can start putting it on the list. Seriously. As long as we got somebody we can work with.
Mine's a
that's
quad
gonna-
right now. We're looking for something between 20 and 30 units.
Okay.
What?
We can put on the list, start have them call us, call it. Because I see it, I really do see
I'm
it.
shocked that your hedge doesn't buy it.
I wish, you know, but they just
They have a certain criteria.
right, and you know they do. What they do is they'll take a house, say like a renter is paying $1,200 for it. They'll take it, fix it up, and then put it up for $2,500. So I said, because I asked him like, what are y'all doing? He said, but it has to be a good area, it has to be Pacifics. That's why they do it. So they buying houses, but they in the nice neighborhoods and nice everything, and then they just charging.
Yeah. But if they fixed it up, then it's worth it. Then
Yeah, they always
they'll
they
get it.
fix every single property. There is no if a property don't need rehab, they're gonna rehab it. You know what I mean? Like they always.
Who do they use to rehab their properties? They got their own.
Because they be in 23 cities, and for each city they have inspectors to go out to the properties. Like
Okay.
I talk to them, I'm like, hey, like, you know, I work with, you work with, you tell me who you work with, and so they have their own inspector. You know what I mean? That works with them directly. Because they be like, say like they don't have an inspector to go out, so everybody visit. They hire a third-party inspector to go out and do it, but they don't really like to do it that way.
Right, because they want their own people.
Right. So that's what they say. That's what they say. Man,
They got to be able to trust that
let's wait.
inspection.
Let's wait. Let's do that. No people doing that. So.
What's a hedge fund you're with now?
Aaron.
Aaron?
Ahers.
Ahers? What, down in New York? Or?
No. California. No. Yeah. I know they title companies in Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he works
It's
from home,
AMZ.
the guy.
Yeah, everybody works from home. It's AMZ title.
Oh, the whole, from COVID, the whole thing has changed.
Yeah, man. Everybody gonna feel like this.
You don't need,
I think everybody gonna feel this.
yeah, you don't need to
You
go,
know?
you don't need to go to a job.
Yeah, it changed the way people work.
Yeah.
Because I don't go out anymore. I don't even go, I don't know if you thought before, I used to always go to property business. Always be at the property business. Seriously, if you go through my Facebook page, I got a lot of property business. I don't even go to property anymore.
Send your inspector. Yeah.
Yeah, or my team send that to me. You know what I mean? So we do deals virtually from Jacksonville. Yeah, you know the houses we can do. I don't have to look at it enough. You know?
Yeah.
So if I call people, we just say, hey, how much we need it for? We call the team. How much we need it for? The team I'm talking about. And they say, hey, go get it for 40. So we'll go put in a contract for 40, and then we'll get a contract for them, and then we'll just go get more. That's why we try to get 10 deals per month. Because we can keep going because they doing the work, fund, fire, and everything.
That's what all the gurus do anyway. They do seminars, they get people to show up, and then those people that don't know what they're doing bring deals to them. And other people that do know what they're doing but they don't want to do it bring money to them, and they put them together. You know, they got one guy giving them money, one guy giving them deals. You know, and they're just in the middle. You know, Than Merrill, he's been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
I went to one of his first seminars.
I mean, you'll figure it out. You know, once you be doing it, you'll figure out, like us. We figure out how to work from home and you do it in our own city. You know what I mean? So you'll figure out what, you know what I mean, what works for you, what you can do. Like, oh, I can do this. That's what we do. I'm like, hey, we can do this.
We
It's
always
like,
trying
like this hedge
things.
fund, like Dom and G, like they talk about their hedge fund. Like, was promoting them without knowing it was the hedge fund. We started buying a lot of deals, seriously, because it was like 23 cities. So I've been had the list. I've been putting it up, and like just nobody never said nothing about it. But then that same list, I called them. That's how I found out that we had deals with them. But I'm like, man, you should have been called them, man. I'm just hoping these people ain't know what a hedge fund, man. It's crazy. But I teach people. Actually call these people and see what you can do with them. You know what I mean? So I do my own stuff, which you're supposed to. That's why I tell people to do it. You know what I mean? So I called them. I said, hey man, like, what do y'all do? Like, yeah, we the head from. Oh man, I like made it. You know what I'm saying? We don't made it, boss. Seriously. Like, they got this dude. They're like, this is one dude do 5 days with them, make like 40,000 each. It's gonna be us. I'm like, now we trying to call. That's why we get serious about calling and making moves ourselves so we can get things in control. Come on, man. You know?
Where you live at?
Yeah, I live right. That's my meetings here.
Yeah. Oh, you did it here?
Yeah, that's where it first started, man. You know me, I ain't have no bills. ain't even close the deal. I was like, just meet up with people and that's my ideal.
He's just getting in it, but he bought a quad. And I know it was great, he just hadn't built, when he came back, he didn't have any American credit.
Right.
So he had to build up his credit, he had to build up his income. He bought a $250,000 quad for like 30 grand now. And now it's for 350.
Right, that's good. He didn't do work or something?
No, it was all rented. But he bought it as an owner-op, so he could rent one of them. And then he ended up moving into his office space, and then he rented out his too.
I would have done it too.
Yeah, because bringing in 35, and his payment's like 15, but 400 of his PMI. So I told him, I said, dude, get a new appraisal because you bought it for you owe 230, and now it's for 340, 350, somewhere in there. That's 80%. You can drop the PMI and get out of that $400 a month. So now instead of paying $1,500 and getting $300 or $3,500, you get $300 or $3,500 and you only have to pay $1,000. That's $12,000 a year.
I want to do stuff. I need somebody like you. You got to get mentored and follow people. That's why I got you. Like, don't
I have a lot of good mentors.
Don't hang going so crazy. You got to follow people. If you want to do fix it,
But you gotta be careful with it too. Like in 08, I had 40 houses and a 30-unit trailer park, and I had $5 million in houses, $3 million in loans, and my $5 million in houses went to $2 million in 18 months. So I had to start selling them and I was going to closings and paying money to get out of the loans. And it hurt me. But the trailer park really, it cash flowed me out, and it saved my house, and saved my cars, and saved my family for a while. And I built it all back up, and then I actually want to go through a divorce. I'm like, oh man, 300 grand later, I don't wake up to an argument.
So if you want to say like you got a house, you want to rehab it, how much do you need to get a loan? How much would you need?
How much is the rehab?
35.
How much is that? It's a big rehab. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got a wholesale deal.
What are you asking?
You got it for a wholesale deal.
What are you asking?
What would you have to put down to get a loan for that 80 grand and 45? How much loan is it? So is it 10%?
Well, generally the guys will loan 70 cents ARV, after repaired value.
Okay.
So let's say your $80,000 house is worth 150
Right.
after 30.
Right.
So they'll loan 70%. So they'll loan probably about 100 grand. Okay, approximately 100 grand. So you'll have to come out of pocket about at least 35, about 15 grand plus closing costs, plus points. So you have to come out of cost about 20 grand out of pocket. You'll have to have 20 grand in your account. And then another thing they'll do, a lot of the money lenders, they'll hold, let's say they're going to give you 20 grand for the rehab, they'll hold 10 of it back until a third of the rehab's done, then they'll release it, just to make sure you don't screw them.
Well, it's not bad though.
Yeah, well, it's not bad, but what I do differently now than what I used to do, and what I did at first is that's how I did it. That's how I know that program. That was 20 years ago. Then I built up enough money to where I just had my own money, and then I got kind of rich.
Is that better?
Yeah, when you don't have to use anybody else's money because you don't pay
have
any
to pay
points.
anybody.
Right, and you keep. I bought a condo on the ocean with a credit card, $250,000 with a credit card, and just paid for it, right? So I mean, yeah, when you're balling, right? Had a $100,000 Mercedes and $100,000 boat. That's when you're balling, right? In hindsight, I would have bought a bunch of rental properties with that same money and had money rolling in forever.
Yeah.
So, but you don't see that. You
You learn though.
Right, and I learned.
Yeah.
Right. So now what I do, instead of being greedy, this guy taught me. He says, you buy sheep, you sell deer. Don't be a hogger, you get slaughtered. And he was a financial advisor. He says, so we buy stock low, we sell it when it's getting up there, but we don't wait for it to peak because it might crash. So we buy it as a sheep, we sell it as a deer. We don't want to be a hog because you get slaughtered and you lose it all, right? So what I learned is I can borrow hard money, 10, 15%. It's their money, so I don't mind if they're getting 15%, 10%, doesn't matter. Or I can borrow friends and family money and give them half the deal. And by giving them half the deal, I don't have to make any payments. They put up all the money, I get everything done. So I don't have any debt. Really, I have no exposure except for I'll never let my friends or family lose money. So the pressure's all on me, but I'm not getting pressured every day for $1,500 payments on this property that's half rehab. see what I'm saying? Now the negative is right now, they have 2x4s $11.
Yeah.
So I'm scared to rehab stuff right this minute.
He said it's so hot, the wood so much.
Yeah, I went in and got 2 2x4s and 2 2x6s the other day with $60. And I was like, man, this is crazy. You know? And then I look at 2x4s that I have on projects with a bunch of nails sticking out of them. And I'm like, it's not worth my time to pull those nails out of that perfectly good 2x4 when I go buy a 2x4 for $5 or $6. But for $11, pull the damn nails out. You know? I've gotten really good at pulling nails out too.
Yeah.
Still got to be.
Be an expert.
And I got a new 2x4 sitting here. It's full. I got an old 2x4 sitting there with nails in it. And I'm thinking, man, it'd be just quicker just put this new 2x4 in. But I gotta just save my money because pinch the pennies. You know. And
Because it's cheaper when you look at rehab.
Yeah.
And you can buy so many things on Facebook. Like I bought a whole kitchen on Facebook for $150. And in the kitchen, it was for a rental probably, but in the kitchen, you know, some of the drawers were messed up. So I just put plywood in the drawers and it made it look nice.
Right.
But what came with it also was a $350 cast iron double sink with like a $250 retracting hose faucet, you know, where you can spray with it, you know. And I was like, and they go, yeah, that hose thing cost me like $279. The sink cost me like $579, and you know, but when we were renting that, you know, the guy was a jerk, so I pulled my kitchen out. He put the kitchen in his own rental and took it with him.
Wow.
You know, yeah. So I bought a whole thing for $150.
Wow.
You know? The countertop cost me $180, but
Still save money.
but yeah, and my rent was $1,200. Now it's $1,400. You know, and it's just a modular home. That's been paid off for 7 years.
That's part, is that better? Those type of homes?
I mean,
Compared to a regular house? You
no,
get
I mean a
more-
house is better, but I mean I've made more money on trailers than I ever had houses. Especially when you're okay, because you can buy a house. Can you touch any house for under $100,000 anywhere? I mean, really, there isn't. But you can buy.
Even in 09, it's starting to go up.
Well, 09 is still 70 and 80 grand, you know, and it's worth it, really. 09's not that bad. I've done a lot better. But you got you can buy a modular home with land for 20-25 grand all day long. What it'll cost you to rehab a house, it's minimum of 30 grand for any rehab of a house.
Yeah.
For a mobile home, you can pretty much rehab any of them for 10 grand. Because hell, it only costs you can buy them for 10 grand sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So everything's cheaper, and it's so if you're going to keep it as a long-term rental, modular homes with land seem to be the easier because okay, I'm in it for 30 grand. If you did it on a payment, that'd be about 300, and you rented it for $1,000. That's $700 a month. You buy a house in 08 for 800 or for 80 grand, your payment is basically 600, and your rent's maybe 1,000 if you're lucky, right? So you're only making 400. So you do the numbers. I know what I do with mobile homes is, like I'll give you for instance, I bought one for 25. I needed some work. Started doing the work. Kids came along and said, "We got school loans stuff. We can't. The credit's messed up. We'll buy it from you for 77." I bought it for 25, and I put $2 grand down and $250 a month. The lady wanted residual income because she was going to move in with her daughter because she's old. So she wanted residual income. Right? Okay. So they put $3 grand down and $950 a month. So I sold it to them for 77. Bought it from her for 25, and I made on paper 50 grand, but I got $650 a month, like clockwork, for 4 years. And then when I was going through my divorce, I knew I was going to have to liquidate it. So I said to those kids, I said, "Look, you guys got to get a loan." They said, "Well, we can't." So I sold the note off to a hedge company out of California, and they did the same one. And they came in, and the people they owed me about 68 grand. They came in and paid me like 45,000. So on a $25,000 trailer, I literally made 60 grand over 4 years.
Right.
You know, and it was yeah. And I got up to about 10 of those, plus that 30 unit trailer park.
Those are good.
Paid
Yeah.
Those are good.
my whole monthly outgo.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, my house payment was $3 grand a month. So my outgo was like 8 to 10 grand a month.
Why not do that?
It was good, you know.
Really? We want to go travel. We want to go travel to this thing that we do.
You gotta get some residuals going if you want to.
Yeah, that's what
We
we
always
want.
think about
If you get enough of them in the pipeline now, that's like residuals. But eventually it stops. But so do residuals. Eventually you get sick of renting and you sell them. You know, down the road you just get tired of being a landlord.
And so you be thinking about all that stuff. Man.
Yeah, we think about all
Like,
that.
you know,
I can teach you how to do the rentals. Let me tell you this. I went in when I owned the trailer park. I wasn't a landlord before. I went in a really nice guy. I came out of MRF early. I mean, when you let one person slip for a couple weeks in a mobile home park, it travels like fire. And they tell her pretty soon I had 15 people late. And then pretty soon I had 15 people not paying. And there was only 30 units in there. Half of them weren't paying. I was losing my ass. And they were all telling everybody, oh, he's a pushover. He's easy. So I had to start getting tougher. Then I hired a dude with a ZZ Top mirror with a Harley Davidson tattooed on his neck. And when I collected his rent, he scared me. Right? So I said, you ever ran a mobile home park? He said, yep. I said, are you interested in managing? He goes, do I get free rent? I said, yep. He goes, yep.
All right.
And I was checking him out because he scared the hell out of me, honestly. And then I saw him driving the church bus on Wednesday nights picking up the kids. I said, this is an old biker dude that got God.
Yeah.
And he was awesome. He was wonderful.
That's good. Yeah.
And I'll tell you how I paid him. This is if you have a lot of rentals, this really worked the best. So I went through many managers before I got him. I gave him 10% of everything he collected by the 5th. So it made him motivated to get their rent by the 5th.
Yeah.
And I gave him 5% of everything after that. So they had late payments and all that other stuff. He only gets 5% of it. So he was honored for getting paid by the 5th because that's his money.
Yeah.
Right? And he
You
got
lose
double
out.
money by
Yeah.
the 5th, right? I go down there on the 6th, I get 98% of my rents every time. And then maybe one person, because they're getting addicted or going through whatever, you know, lost a job or whatever, we have to work with up. He only gets 5% of that one. And he's on their ass harder than the other people, right? And he wants to get rid of them and get new people.
right.
Which is first, last, and deposits. That's good for me. Right?
Yeah, different too, because he's
Right.
sure he's going to make money.
Yeah.
And he gets 10% of everything he gets. So if he gets first, last, and deposit, he brings in, like, say, $2,200. He gets $220 from that one contract. You know?
You gotta have a win-win for us.
Yep.
He was still running it even after I sold it. Matter of fact, when I sold it, the guy that bought it said, I'm only going to buy it if I get to keep him.
Oh, wow.
I said, just don't get in a fight with him. He's a bad.
Right, it's different, man.
Yeah.
So what do you have going on right now? What project?
Well, we're going to buy some apartments, so we're hunting them. I've got one that I'm buying down in Palatka for Silver Springs. For, like I told the lady, tried to screw me out of it. We're closing on it next week.
So you do buy all over too, like everywhere?
120 and 130, we'll get it for 60. It needs a roof, needs some rehab, but not a ton. 110 grand. I hope. Can't tell what prices are. My investors are like, how much are they going to cost to fix it? I don't know, man.
Right.
2 weeks ago it would have been one thing, but actually, literally, the guy at Home Depot yesterday said the lumber prices are starting to come down this week already. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll get there for a little bit. So,
Why is it so high? Cost of trees didn't go up.
Right.
but they know they can make money because
It's the fuel.
prices is okay.
Because of fuel, getting it there.
Everything. What goes up must come down.
That's right.
Right? That's what's up. You know, we're gonna try to start. Like I said, we're gonna start putting stuff on the list because I don't. You know, I
What
will.
area?
That's our last.
Areas?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't care. Anyway. I don't care. I didn't want to Dade City this year. I did one in, Dade City's way down by Tampa. You know, I'm talking about prices. Tampa is horrible. Oh, it's crazy.
You know, we try to do.
You try to do deals there, yeah.
I mean, they're crazy.
Orlando, Miami.
Orlando's crazy.
You know what's really crazy? I know I'm going outside of Florida, but Denver, Colorado.
Oh, it's got to be crazy. It's a tourist area, man.
It's like 2 bedrooms, 1 million.
I met this dude from Africa down in Mandan, right here. Little tiny white dude from Johannesburg, Africa. Yeah, mate. How you doing, mate? And we went and looked at properties all day. He told me, this is 5 years ago. He told me he did a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in Washington, D.C. He bought it 800 square feet. He bought it for 160 grand. rehabbed it, sold it for 300. 800 square feet, one bedroom, one bath apartment, sold for 300 grand. They offered him 290. He said no. They agreed to pay the 300. The appraisal came in at 280. He said don't buy it then. And the people came up with the extra 20 grand and paid him full. And he said the only thing that we had to do was put a washer and dryer in the apartment to make it better than all the others. 800 square feet? And we're talking $400 a square foot? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. And then I had another dude come try to buy my buddy's boat. And he goes, well, how much is the boat? It's like 100 grand. I said, he goes, oh, I got a property. I'm going to sell it. Where's it at? And he told me it was on the main street in Washington, D.C. And I looked it up and I called my buddy up and said, dude, this dude's a real deal. He's got a $750,000 house, but he's got 2 rentals on that same street. He's got 1.5 and 2 rentals. You know, just like 1,500 square feet houses, nothing big. You know? Yeah.
Sir,
All right,
take
guys.
that call to the city.
No, it's good.
Good old city of Jacksonville.
Talking about business.
Okay, so let's do some deals, man.
Yeah, I said we're gonna put up. I'm sorry.
You're going to put up a list?
No, well, I built a list.
See what you did.
I'm gonna put up a duplexes, right?
Send me
Well,
whatever.
duplexes,
No, we're looking for apartments.
Apartments.
quads or apartment buildings. Yeah.
Yeah, bigger the better.
I see it all the time.
Bigger the
A lot of
better.
stuff that big. A lot of it big.
That's what we want. Run down stuff, it doesn't matter.
Any condition we can handle.
Oh, great. I was just gonna ask.
And I'll do single family houses all day long. So if you get anything that you want me to turn on or turn over, I got a ton of people that call me. So I invited 2 other people here today, but they didn't make it. What days are we going to do meetings?
I know, right?
Let's do it. He wants to too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the topic gonna be about?
Real estate.
Making money.
We should make it. We gotta talk about that, you know?
Let's do it.
See how to talk about that. See if we can look at it. We
Yeah,
gotta have a
'cause you
place-
guys know a lot.
We gotta have a place to, where everybody comes.
Well, we got
Yeah, we actually
Golden
set
Corral
it up.
room.
Yeah, we set up
Right
the
there.
room at the Golden Corral over on what is the south side. Take 50,
It's free.
50 people in one of the rooms.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Pretty good size.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
yeah, they got that closed-in room. It's free.
Yeah.
I'm a car dealer too, so.
And the ice cream's
it's not
good, too.
buying houses.
Well, let's do it. Yeah, that's
We both move cars. I'm a dealer, and Joel's been in the car business for quite a while.
My trailer park got me in the car wreck because people, the car break down, they lose their job because they couldn't get to work because the car broke down. Get behind on rent because they couldn't get to work because the car broke down. Get evicted by me because the car broke down because they didn't go to work because they didn't have any rent. Leave, the car stay in the yard. I track them down, say, hey man, what are you gonna do with the car? Well, it's got a blown head gasket, it's got a blown water pump, or it's got this or that, I can't afford to fix it. Well, you owe me $2 grand in rent. Well, give me the title and I'll wipe off your debt. They would give me the title, I'd take it to my brother and he'd fix it and I'd sell it and get half my money back.
Yeah.
Literally, one girl had a Lexus that the front wheel fell off. Like the front ropes and was leaning. I put it on the trailer and I towed it to my house and I said, you know, Lexus, don't know anything about it, but it's really, I mean, literally, it's like corn cobs, black stuff underneath the back seat for the kids. And it's just like gooey stuff. I'm like, ew, I ain't touching this car. Right? I put it on Craigslist or Facebook and I said, first $1,000. 36 calls in an hour. I'm like, what? I said, the strut's fault. And literally, some big girl comes, strong chick, I'm going to drive her home. I said, baby, it's the wheel. She goes, I don't care. And then I had to do the fence. I need the motor, man. I'll pay you more. And I'm like, what the hell?
Well, it's a Lexus story. That's a Lexus.
It was also tax time. I didn't know anything about the car game. I could have got $2 grand,
Yeah.
you know? And she owed me $2 grand, but I gave her.
Taking payments in cars. Huh?
Yeah.
I would, maybe went up somewhere, you gotta make it up, you know?
Yep.
So when we gonna have another meeting, sit down and talk about it?
Well, we talked about it first of the month, so it seemed like it made sense.
First
to do
Thursday
it,
of every month or
first-
something?
Yeah, like first Tuesday or first Thursday of the month.
Yeah, Tuesday or Thursday.
I'm
You want to try
starting
that?
in, starting in August because we're going to be away this weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Is that, you know,
Okay, all right, let's do it. Okay, buddy. Really nice meeting you.
yeah. All right, so that's
All right,
what
you guys take it
next
easy.
year. Next year.